Teenagers. When I teach my Making Good Choices classes for teenagers, I talk to them and I say, during this time, you're going to have a lot of changes in your life because hormones are going to come into your body. And the basic thing that I can say to you is that your body is going to change from a kid's body to an adult's body. Parents, welcome to the roller coaster ride, where a semi-adult, semi-rational, calm child can be standing having a conversation with you and flip into a temper tantrum worthy of an outraged 3-year-old. The problem with this time zone is that teenagers want more freedom, and then they do one thing after another to prove that they're not ready for it. The thing that you need to remember is this, that children are being asked to experience life 11 years ahead of what prior generations did. What does that mean? 11-year-old is dealing with the same things that a 22-year-old used to deal with. There are more ways that this modern world can cause serious or present choices for serious trouble, if not death, to your child. And so, of course, parents are freaked out. It's really important that during this time you don't abdicate your job because it's hard. It's never easy, and it's hard during this time. You need to have fair boundaries, reasonable consequences. You need to stay in the game. You need to pay attention to your child. You need to know where they are, know what they're doing, and you need to help and guide them through this time, even if they treat you like dirt, because they're not likely to appreciate you. And I'll talk more about why. You need to give children in this age time, this bracket called teenagers, some freedom. It's been very, very clearly represented, proven, that parents who are too strict, too many boundaries, to hold on to the children too tight, then they break away and rebel. So a 13-year-old can go to a movie. You can drop them off at a movie and pick them up afterwards. But you don't let your 13-year-old go to a rock concert. Some freedom, but not so much freedom that they fall into the pitfalls of the perils of this time. Let me give you an overview. There are 3 things I want you to know about this time period. Number 1, yes, they're going through hormonal changes. What you may or may not remember or know is that those hormones come in spurts. And because they come in spurts, they don't just come all at once. They come in spurts. It affects your child's feelings more than anything else. Feelings become more intense. So you're basically dealing with a child who can go on be radical. And the main thing is, don't you get radical with them. If you can stay calm when your child goes, woo, then you're more likely to help your child come down. Your child can have a major temper tantrum, may fly off the handle over absolutely nothing, or so it appears. And it could just be that all of a sudden those feelings, or all of a sudden there was such an intense feeling about something that the child reacted to it. The reason first love, we talk about our first love as being the one you never forget. Well, it has more to do with that. It's usually during this period of time. And all those feelings come together at once. And so it's like, yes, it's an obsession. Oh, my first love. And we remember that. Whereas hopefully as we progress down and the hormones aren't spurting through our body, then we can have less intense or less feelings-centered relationships. Hormones. Number 2, the prefrontal cortex of the child's brain is not fully developed. This affects their ability to think and reason. I've heard parents say to a teenager, "What were you thinking?" Well, the problem is they weren't. They weren't thinking at the moment because they basically shut down. They basically closed off. The brain shuts down, and they weren't. And so, yes, they need to be accountable for their choices. Yes, they are accountable for their choices, but the main thing is don't give them so much freedom that they're dependent on their choices. You know, the rule of thumb is that from birth until age 13, children look to their parents as a resource for information, for support, for ideas, for values, and everything. From 13 through 19, they look to each other, which is why it's so scary. So during this important time called teenagers, you want to give your child some guidance, some freedom, but not too much freedom, because they can't always make the best choice. The third one is that they're building their own sense of independence. The problem with this is during this time, what they will tend to do is throw out your morals and values and what you think. They're going to think you're stupid, what you think is stupid. And the problem is they don't do it in pieces. They do it categorically. So they'll look at what you believe politics, what do you believe about religion, what do you believe about almost anything and everything. And it's like a measuring stick. They throw out the whole measuring stick. And then what they do is they go and try on some other idea, some other belief. Follow a rock star, follow somebody. And they try them on for a while. And then when they wear that out, they try on another way of thinking and another way of valuing and more information. That sounds hopeless. It's not. If they respect you, if the child respects you, then they will not throw out your values. They will respect your values even if you're not there. And how do you earn that respect? By being in the game, by being present. Ironically, by creating some structure for them so that you show them that you love them. I remember talking to a boy in a drug center, and he said his parents didn't care. I knew they were both working 2 jobs to help him to survive and to go to school. But when I asked him, I said, what makes you think they don't care? He said, they never said they'd kill me if I did drugs. He happened to be in a drug center. And so the message from the parents was, to the child was, you didn't set boundaries, so you can't really care about me. If they respect you, then they will carry your value system over, and that's essential. I invite you to look at our developmental guidelines so that you see what's appropriate through this interesting time called teenagers. So let's get on with it.